Still thinking about it. It says we're live. So hello everybody, welcome to Critscast, the YouTube experience. I don't know what to say. That's the strangest intro we've ever had. My name's Aggro. I'm currently drinking Brewdog's beer. It can't just be called beer. That'd be a really crap name for a beer. It's called Quench Quake. I will admit freely that I had the first one of these this morning at 9:30 to celebrate my parents' golden wedding anniversary. That is both how old they are and indeed how old I am. Well, not the same thing, but you know, that's awesome anyway. They're fantastic people. If they're listening to this, I'm sure they're not. They're probably at a party somewhere. Oh, they're not though. They can't be. Anyway, enough about my own private and family's lives, and on to today's guest, who I'm sure has a family and a private life. We'll probably find out about both. Probably not, though, actually. Hello, Lucky Lia.
Hi. I do, in fact, have a family and a private life.
That's good to know. I mean, there's no guarantee of either one of them.
Wow, this got dark fast.
Well, yeah, it's the worst thing to do, though, is to say, "Hey, tell me about your parents," and then find out they're all dead. So I figured, what have I got? Like hundreds of keys. What the hell? Anyway, I think those are for the LAN.
Keys, I mean,
that's the LAN keys. That's April 10th to April 11th live on our Twitch channel. We've got the lockdown throwdown, or the throwdown lockdown. No, it's the lockdown throwdown. So there's that to look forward to. Anyway, I've stopped on your intro. How are you? Are you Lucky? Are you Lia? Are you Lucky Lia? How does one refer to you?
On Steam, I pretty much go by Lia Rain. Lucky Lia is something I use when I'm streaming, and it has like a really stupid reason as to why. When I made my Twitch account, I was Lia_Rain, and that's how most TF2 people I'm friends with know me. But I just changed it on Twitch because I kept winning people's Twitch raffles, and I wanted to brag about it some more. So I changed my name to Lucky Lia, and I just never changed it back.
Oh, so it really isn't anything to do with your play style or your like intention in life?
I genuinely believe I am actually a pretty lucky person, both in real life and in game. I win lots of things all the time, and I can't explain it.
I mean, I recently found out you're Irish, so I just assumed it was associated with like the Irish kind of lucky person, that persona thing.
Yeah, it did give me the excuse to make like shamrock emotes and stuff like that.
Aha! Okay, genius. Yeah. Speaking of emotes, you're like super, well, not super famous. You're TF2 level super famous. Streamer.
I didn't even know if I'd say that.
Really? I don't know what.
I mean, I'll take it.
Why not, eh? But I mean, it's something to aspire to. You're a Highlander player turned. I've actually described you on one of the blurb things I pushed out for this. It's a Highlander player turned variety streamer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually streamed Highlander. I obviously have played it, but yeah, I guess I would say the first really big thing for me, I think, in TF2 was joining community servers. I think that's probably a lot of people's experiences, because that's maybe where they get their first friends and that kind of stuff. But I also did really enjoy doing Highlander. I played it in NA, actually. I'm one of those like traitorous EU people. And I did a bit in EU after. Have I already lost points?
I mean, I don't know whether it counts on points basis. I tell you what, while you're doing this, I'm searching through my friends list. Just before we went live, I discovered that my friends list is full again. It is not a very well kept friends list. I should have.
Yeah, so it was Aggro's fault, not mine.
Yeah, I should have. Oh, wait. Hey, how? Well, yeah, fair enough.
You already said yeah.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. But I was doing the yes thing when I'm kind of listening, but sort of not listening at the same time. Yeah. So this person, I haven't seen them in 6 months. There we are. Last online 6 months. We are now no longer friends. Holy shit. This is how it works, though. I mean, you've got to do
Cool.
this. Remove as friends.
So unfeeling.
I mean, I kind of know them. They're actually a nice person. The worst thing is when you're going through and you're cleaning up your friends list, which genuinely I need to do more often. I spend so much time like looking for people that haven't been online for like 3 months. And when I find them, I'm like, oh no, this person hasn't been online for 6 months. I should kick them. I should like remove them from my friends list. It's bloody Lao Lao. It's one of the people who created so many of the early sets of like TF2 items. I can't kick that person. Well, like so many. Like, why are there so many people that have touched my life in Team Fortress 2, and why are they not like constantly talking to me in my Steam all the time?
You've got to level up that Steam badge. Max it out.
Yeah, no, that's what I should be doing. Okay, this person has been on for 4 hours. I should kick them. All right. Well, maybe one was all it took. To
You've
find
kind
out
of done with CJ, right? You've already done his interview. You can get rid of him now.
You're right. I'm not sure we even are friends with CJ. I think we just happen to be in the same place at the same time. I'm not even sure we need to be friends on Steam to play on the creators.tf server. In fact, we don't. We can just go in there. We can just we can find ourselves a server.
Yeah, I actually favorited all their like EU and Chicago servers.
Have you downloaded the pack? Because they've got a couple of maps on that. It'll save you a few minutes. It's like a 100 meg download.
I can.
I mean,
I probably have a lot of the custom ones already from other servers. Maybe. Yeah. I guess it depends on the version.
So, like you're streaming. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but you do. You said you don't stream the Highlander, but you have been a Highlander player for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like insane experience. I did like 3 seasons NA and then a couple of seasons EU as well, and I'm now going back to NA in their next Highlander season in RGL. I've never done RGL before, so I'm interested. Right. But yeah, kind of streaming happened after I stopped competitive for a little bit. Because I was a teacher in England for a little bit, and I didn't really have time to both stream and do competitive and whatever else.
Oh, holy shit! The Koth, the server 1 in Frankfurt has a few spaces in it. Do we jump on that?
All right, yeah, I'll try and get in.
Sweet. Okay, I'm joining now. Yeah,
Wait, there are 3 Koth servers. Is it? Which map is it?
It's Koth Clear Cut.
Okay, I'll join it.
B14C. It's Frankfurt number 1. Right. Game on. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I was stalking you a little bit to try and find out like what your past is and where you came from. And I see that you've. Yeah. No, I figured you'd appreciate me putting it like that. And it did say that you'd been like part of the Irish national Highlander team, so I figured they can't just accept anyone for that. That's
well, you'd think. I think they were in desperate need of. I didn't actually main. I subbed their medic, and I did play like a couple of officials. I don't think it went that well overall, but yeah. I actually, to be honest, I didn't think there would even be that many Irish players for a Highlander team. I rarely come across other Irish players.
I was going to say, what's the process for getting on that thing? Because, like, the tryouts must be really hardcore. Is that... or you just got to know a guy?
I didn't know anyone because that was the first thing I did, I think, after playing NA. I literally knew no one in EU. I was on CJ's stream, I think, and he was talking about the Nations Cup. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I wonder if there's an Irish team. Yeah. I literally just went onto E2F2L, found the Irish team, added one of them, and was like, hey, do you need like a medic or like a sub-medic or anything? And then, yeah, I played with them and they were like, okay, yeah, you can. They already had a main by that stage, so I just subbed for them and I played some scrims and officials.
Moment now, I realised that you stopped talking, and I might have to say something while I'm so deeply and intensely focused on playing TF2. I mean, did you get a chance to talk to the team? Was that to the real players, the heroes?
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember. I mean, Can
you even remember any of their names? any of them? Just name one other person you played with.
I actually haven't talked to them since, so I'm trying to remember.
Wow.
It's probably a lot of the Irish guys that are still around now. I know there's an Irish heavy. Not Bob D, it's someone else.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been that was like the only experience. I only did that one time with the Irish team, so I didn't ever become super friendly with them or anything. And I still continued to play on NA community servers, so. Most of my like 5-6-year-old friends would be NA. I've only really gotten to know the EU people in the past like 2 to 3 years, probably.
Oh, so despite being from like not North America, your soul is in North America. Is that how does that work out?
Yeah, pretty much. Every so often I meet another EU person and they're like, yeah, I actually really like playing in NA too, and it makes me feel like I'm a little bit less weird. But it just happened. This is such a sad story, but it just happened that I was when I started TF2, I was really nervous about playing Spy in servers because all I ever saw when I was like a total brand new noobling was people complaining about Spy all the time, and I really wanted to try playing it, but I was new to online gaming and I was afraid of being shouted at by people. I'm not anymore. So
wait, shouted at them for what? For trying or for not being good?
For anything, really. I just thought that people didn't like spies, and especially bad spies, which, yeah, is true.
I mean, that's true, yeah. You nailed that one, well done.
Yeah, I wanted to learn how it worked first, so I looked up spy tutorials on YouTube, and I found none other than Mr. Paladin, who is living in America. And he had his home server listed on there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool, I didn't know community servers were a thing, and I checked it out, and it was an NA server. And it was like the best community server I've ever been on, and it just made me addicted to NA.
So wait, hang on. So Mr. Paladin's got his own like community server then?
No, it was actually not his server, but a server that he was friends with one of the admins on the server, so they agreed that he could have admin status and that kind of thing. It was called Crit Sandwich. They used to have like 8 servers, and they ran for like 8 to 9 years, but Meet Your Match kind of killed off the end of their servers. Very tragic.
So are you still a committed Mr. Paladin fan?
No, I was actually friends with him for a while, and I'm in some of his YouTube videos.
Wow!
And everything. Yeah, I'm my claim to fame.
How does that even? So, like, what's the process? Is there? I mean, I'm stunned because I didn't even know that was a thing that you could do.
Yeah, whenever I met him, I think he had like 30K subs on YouTube, so he's obviously grown a lot since then. But yeah, I don't know, I just played with him, and he, I guess, liked how I played and stuff when we became friends. And then one time he was like, do you want to be an actress in one of my videos? And I was like, oh, I was so like starry-eyed. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, so I did, and it was like he did this like 10 Commandments of TF2 video or something, and he had like me and a couple of his friends like acting out certain scenarios and stuff. And then he did some live streams on a new server that he moved to, and I was in some of those as well.
All right. So, palling around with the big boys of YouTube.
Yeah, that was a while ago, though, so... I don't pal around with Mr. Paladin anymore.
That's a shame, because I just realised what a pun that was, but never mind. So, Mr. Paladin.
Yeah, Polly.
So is that like, is it the hope of being like perceived as YouTuber material that made you want to try streaming? I don't know where I'm going with this. Made you want to try streaming, or?
I think what initially, I never thought I would stream. First of all, I never thought I'd be like super into an online game. I only really started playing online games when I was 21, so that's kind of late, I feel, these days.
It is these days, but it wasn't like back in my day.
Yeah.
I mean...
but no, the reason I started streaming was actually pretty small aims. had a friend who considered streaming, and then he was just like, I think you should stream. And I just thought I would stream. Like, I used to play casual with some of the guys from my old community server, and I legitimately had a lot of fun with them and a lot of fun talking with them in comms and stuff. And I thought it would just be fun to stream that group experience. Then I cut them from the stream because they weren't good enough. No, I'm just kidding. But I just started streaming just because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if me and my friends had, like, could stream our experiences and we'd have those, like, videos and stuff. It was really, like, not small-minded in the sense that that usually means, but just, like, I didn't have, like, huge goals with it or anything when I started it.
It was just for the lols, for the experience of doing it, or for...
Yeah, and also I just really love talking to people. And I really love playing games, so streaming seems like the perfect combination of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, like, whenever I'm doing the live streaming, literally like I'm doing right now, like, I've got one eye on the chat trying to figure out whether or not there was a conversation there going on, and if it's a conversation that is for me, or if it's just a conversation that exists. That I happen to be in the vicinity of, and like how, because you seem to do it seamlessly, like you enroll or involve everyone in what you're doing as opposed to doing your own thing.
I feel like there's probably a couple people here that are gonna disagree, but yeah, no, I really do like talking to people, and definitely my gameplay suffers immensely because I think chat is more important than, well, because I'm not I'm not like Bonnie or whatever. I think for me, chat is more important than like being insane while streaming in the game. Yeah. I do use the streamer excuse of like I'm playing bad because I'm streaming, but
yeah.
But yeah, I do like talking to people. I do sometimes get Leah only reads 50% of her chat in my chat though. Yeah, like Andreas just said, and he's a mod on my stream, so. That's my support.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna die here. Yeah, I got someone in the face! Excellent. Right. Technical, just capping here. Just being a hero. Yeah, I've definitely used the, I'm playing, which is why I'm bad at chat, or I'm chatting, which is why I'm bad at playing.
Yeah.
Excuse, and I find that you can only really use one at a time. If you try and do them both at the same time, that's not so good.
Yeah, but you see, I also, if I'm also playing on an American server, then I can also use the ping, so I've got that like double excuse.
That's genius. That's a genius level. If you want, we can go and play on an American server now, just to really kind of feel great about ourselves. I found that playing Pyro on American servers was great because in order to reflect accurately, you have to press the reflect button before they fire the rocket.
Oh, yeah.
So you end up with like this bizarre kind of intuition, which just doesn't translate when you come back to playing on European servers.
Yeah, I think I've like screwed that up for me forever because I've just played so much on NA servers. I think my whole perspective on timing, if I ever play on EU or NA, if I go back, I think it's just a lost cause at this point.
Yeah, so maybe you should be playing for like the Hawaiian team or something.
Oh god, if I get an LA server, it's like 180 ping or something. It's awful.
LA, that's over on West Coast, yeah. So that's other side of the world, literally, in terms of internet.
Yeah.
I think only
so
Australia.
I at least try to go for East Coast if I can.
Yeah, or Chicago, which apparently seems to be the center of the universe for everything. Yeah. Right. Sorry, just gulping down another great big whack of this this beautiful beer. Love me some BrewDog. Not sponsors, although if they ever wanted to be, definitely up for that. Yeah. So your community server experience. I mean, did it start and end with Mr. Paladin servers, or?
I'm gonna get like hate for it being called Mr. Paladin servers, but no, it definitely started through Mr. Paladin's YouTube. But I then would play on there when he wasn't online. I wasn't like only playing because the YouTuber was on that server, if you know what I mean, which I know happens at some communities at times. But yeah, I started with CSN, and then Mr. Paladin did kind of make his own server in a way after that. It was called TPF, Team Play First, and that was kind of the ethic, I guess, of the server, to focus on team play. And It had both an NA and an EU server, so that was probably my first EU server, actually. I've kind of, since then, I've played on some Skyle servers, obviously. I think everyone has. And then I've played... Oprah's Petrol Station is a really good Chicago payload server that's around at the minute. It feels like it's mostly 32-player servers that are alive at the moment. A lot of the 24-player servers have died, and I don't know if that's just because if people want to play 24, then they just play casual. But yeah, I think there's... Since Meet Your Match, I think there's a bigger focus now on 32 servers and custom servers to have something a bit different to casual. Whereas with Quick Play, 24 community servers could just kind of blend in, I guess, with the Valve servers, and people would play them.
Yeah, it is. It's very true that finding any kind of like social server is a lot harder than it used to be back in the day, back when it was the only real solution was to go with like community stuff. Which is why, like, finding, again, not a sponsor, but I do love these guys, creators.tf has been such a revelation for me that there's actually good servers with actually good people on.
Yeah, and 24 players, too.
yeah. 24-player servers, and they're invariably, if not completely rammed, then they will fill up. If you join, other people will come. Which is just such a wonderful experience. And it totally takes me back to, like, community servers of old. Back in the day, back in my day. Oh my God, you're right there. I can see you. We're both gonna die around about the same time. Yeah.
Green.
Oh no, we can't be wearing the same. Oh shag, I died.
We died together.
No, we can't both be dead at the same time. It's appalling. That was the briefest glimpse of seeing your playstyle. I mean, are you 100% soldier?
No, I actually have 1,300 hours on Medic, and that's what I played in competitive. Right. Soldier's been more something I've been, playing for the past, like, year and a half or so. Well, in pubs, really. So, slowly but surely, I will make it my main. Though, when I said I was going back to RGL next season. Well, back to NA. I am going back as a Medic, not as a soldier. I don't think my team would appreciate my soldier skills in Highlander.
Have you got yourself a team then?
Yeah, so okay, my pyro on my first stream tricked me because it was from our pub server, it was a pub team, like that's how it started. And he just messaged me and was like, hey, I noticed you play Medic a lot on server and you're like quite good at playing Medic in a pub. Would you want to like play Medic for this team? We started out as Steel. And then after he got me on the team, he was like, oh, by the way, like, will you get all the other players for the team? And I was like, wait a minute. I thought you were starting. So I legit ended up like being the leader. I got all the people for the team, the only EU person on the team, and I got all the people for the team. I arranged all the scrims and all that kind of fun stuff in Steel. And so I kind of made that team aside from the pyro who's on already. Then when I went to EU, I just wanted to sub mostly because it was teacher training and that kind of stuff was very busy. And then now that I've come back, I have just like remade a team again. So I got to pick the people. It's very nice. I had some of the people from my original NA team, and then having explored around NA a bit more, I've got some new people as well. And I'm hoping to maybe apply for advanced in RGL, but I'll see how it goes. Based on our UGC experience. I
mean, we had Sigga for one last week. I probably should have asked him then, but I didn't know that the question was going to come up. What's the difference between advanced and... Is it... How are the divisions broken up then?
I think it goes open, intermediate, main, advanced, involved. So maybe... It's been a little bit, so maybe we'll get main, but potentially advanced.
But you're definitely above like intermediate level.
Sorry?
You're definitely above intermediate level.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our team has like 5 people with plat experience, and then the rest have silver experience. There's no one new or anything. So hopefully. And I know UGC, I think, has a bit of a different reputation in EU than NA, because I know E2F2L is obviously the main league in EU. Yeah. I think NA was taken a bit more serious, or UGC was taken a bit more seriously in NA for Highlander because they didn't really have much of an alternative, I guess. Whereas I feel like in EU, UGC was kind of taken as the do it in your spare time league kind of.
The between league.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder whether that is the same all over the place. I know that ETF2L has put a lot of work into being #1 kind of thing. And I don't know whether it's either been that UGC hasn't had the same opportunities, or they just didn't get there first, and that makes a hell of a difference with these kind of things. As dumb as it is, like the whole first thing is legit. Don't want to die. Don't want to die. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I was interested in like part of the reason I wanted to do NA again was because I saw that they seem to have better rules around sportsmanship and stuff that they enforce maybe a little better than UGC did. So that was one of the reasons I was considering going back to NA in the first place, was the RGL league. I
mean, one of the bigger sort of differences is the expectation with North America that you have to pay to play. You have to pay to be part of it, and there will be some sort of a prize at the end. Have you found that? I mean, does that breed different kind of responses and responsibilities within the players?
Well, because I'm coming from Highlander, which I feel has a little bit less of that than Sixes.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say. I think in Highlander RGL, it's just invite level that has the money pool.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I know I would play Highlander regardless if that's there or not, if I have the time. I think it might just... I don't know how much it would actually add new people, more just make people a little more determined to win who are already kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a lot. I'm sure people would join for a significant amount.
You've not been like tempted to choose Sixes or to scale up or to go the other path?
Need to be a lot of money for Sixes for me.
Yeah, but you do it though.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I mean, I guess just. Well, you see, at the minute, as far as I understand, I don't think it would be a large enough amount in RGL anyway to draw in the doing it for money crowd as much.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like an added incentive rather than a main incentive, I think.
I mean, in theory, for any kind of game, it's always got to be that anyway. And there's very few games that are sort of on the cards as being ridiculously well paid. Like, why would you not play this game? Because it'll change your life if you win, kind of money.
Yeah. The Fortnite money.
Yeah, I was gonna say Fortnite is pretty much it. I don't know, maybe CS:GO. If you've got that FPS skill, then why not apply it to whoever the highest bidder is? I mean, it's so totally different from other kind of sports where, I don't know, I was going to say different sports where if you're sporty at one, you have your pick of what it is you actually play, but I guess maybe not that different. If you're good at soccer, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make your fortune in golf. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, got a couple of shots in there. But in terms of like an esport career, like you've picked TF2, so your ambitions must not necessarily be all that high.
Wow.
Trying to phrase it as politely as possible.
No, it is true. I mean, I like competitive for. I don't know. It's to me competitive, especially Highlander. I guess it just feels like playing TF2, but a little bit more seriously. I don't know. With more excitement than playing like casual or pub.
One more time with feeling.
And especially if you're playing it with friends. I know a lot of people aren't playing with friends; they're just playing with the best players they can find. I just think it's very enjoyable if it's set up the right way.
Oh, I got a couple of nice kills in then. I was really doing well. I died to fire damage. Damn you, pyros. Please nerf. Don't nerf pyros, please. What's speaking of don't nerfing? What's your favourite loadout? What's your favourite weapons, and what do you fear most?
favorite weapon, people probably aren't gonna like this, but has to be the Kritzkrieg as a medic with 1,300 hours. I don't use it in competitive, obviously, but in pubs it's very fun. If not a little mean. But yeah, I like the Kritzkrieg on medic. I like the stock rocket launcher on soldier. These probably aren't very exciting or innovating answers.
Stock or classic? Does it have to be firing from the right shoulder, left shoulder, or the middle?
I just have it default. I am not one of these people who flips the view model and all this kind of stuff to get around corners better. I'm too lazy to set all that.
Wait, to get around corners, you can't. It's still. What? Am I missing something here? Is there a trick that I don't know about in TF2 that I've been playing for the last 12 years?
Well, I mean, that's what I've been told. Someone told me if you get it, like, you can get it to, like, shoot from the other side and it'll be easier for peeking certain corners and stuff.
Oh,
but
okay, I can see that.
I never explored it. I just trusted, which is probably not the best idea online.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I'm not going to endorse trust as being a safe maneuver.
And I don't like the original. It just looks weird.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, it still fires from the right shoulder, regardless of whether it's on the left or the right. I think even the classic, which has the gun positioned in the middle, still fires from right shoulder to middle. Which makes no sense, but that's skins for you. That's this fabulous game of TF2, so they say.
Yeah, I joined TF2 in December 2014, and I remember, and it was during the end of the line update, and they had those bonus. That was the bonus ducks thing, where they had the bonus ducks every time you kill people, and you collected them for your duck journal or whatever.
Yep.
Because that was my first experience of it, I just thought that was part of the game. So when the update ended, I was like, "Where did all the ducks go?"
Where did the ducks go? Oh my god! I always wondered about like whether or not that would be a thing that people would have problems with. Somebody asked me the other day. They went through a teleport and they're like, "What does this bread do?" Like, it's just bread. It just happens when you get teleported. Yeah. Are we supposed to collect the bread? You get bonus marks for that?
I mean, it is very nice seeing people still being new to TF2.
Yeah.
I was playing NA casual the other day, and there was this girl on medic, and she had brought her little sister and was teaching her how to play medic and was using like comms over mic, and it was the sweetest thing ever. I just heard her, "Make sure you click on lots of different people," and she was like, it was set up, and she was just like, "Let's practice clicking on people." I was like, wow, it was just such a sweet moment for TF2, which can sometimes be not so sweet.
I can't remember anymore whether like clicking on people when you're playing med is default anymore, or it is the default to click when you want to change, and the like default is
sure.
constant.
I think the auto heal is off by default, maybe. Perhaps. I don't have it on anyways. I have to click and hold.
You're old school.
Yeah.
I'm
maybe they changed that at some point.
I say I'm 90% like click and hold. Like that's how I've always played it. But like as I grow older, my finger wears and tires of being constantly in the press position. And I thought I'd give it a try. I would give the not click and hold thing a try. And yes, particularly in Spawn, when you're typing out messages to people before the game starts, it's nice to be able to have that Uber building up. Like you're not even doing anything.
Of talking to people in Steam chat when I'm in pubs, so that would probably be helpful. But what I heard about auto heal though is that it's like slower to swap targets or something. And
really?
Yeah, I think my med coach that I had when I was starting comp said that. But maybe this is another myth I've been fed.
So like when did you how long ago? I feel like I'm asking you age. How long ago was it that you had or needed to have a med coach?
Ooh, it was actually I don't even know actually. It was probably a few years though. Maybe like 4 years ago or something. I don't know. I was like whenever I started comp, I was legitimately so like studious for it. That's gonna sound nerdy as heck, but I looked up so many map reviews and demos. I looked up like demos for other members of my team and sent them to them and was like, watch this. So I looked up a lot of medic demos starting out, and there was this black guy Snook, and I watched his, and I just like, his Steam was linked to his YouTube, so I added him on Steam and was like, hey, can you like help me? I want to learn how to play properly and stuff. And he was actually very helpful and he did map reviews with us and everything, not just meta coaching. I think he played on Chill Penguins. I think that's like one of the fairly good NA teams.
So, I mean, yeah, I always assume that everyone I talk to has been here since the very beginning, and that like they all have the medieval badge. Were you long into your TF2 career before you went comp?
I think I've been playing. I'd only been playing TF2 for maybe like a year when I started doing competitive and all that stuff. I know I kind of get stuck into things. I was like within a year, I think I was like a community admin. I modded on TF2C for a while. Not the best place probably to be a mod. And I don't know. I just really like the fact that TF2 has like so much variety in it. You can do like, it's got the Valve servers, it's got community, it's got competitive. You can stream. It's got, lobbies and pugs outside of the game, if you know what I mean, like websites outside of the game. And I don't know, I just wanted to like try out all those different things and get into it.
I think it's one of the most like accessible games to be like, to have like almost a career in modding. Oh, sorry, a career in being an administrator, not modding, but adminning. Like, like it's incredibly easy to get a position of responsibility just by showing willing.
Yeah.
Which is it's like, it should be a higher bar, but it's not, because like we just appreciate when people are willing to give up their time to be part of something else. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's probably how, you know, I mean, I think admins probably get a hard time because no one likes the person who has to enforce rules, usually. But I think that's probably how there ends up being some not so great admins, just because there's like a lack of competition maybe for admin spots.
Yeah. The abuse angle is overly available.
Mm-hmm. I definitely, the community, the original community server I played on is the one I ended up adminning, and they had a pretty good process. They had like the forms and all you have to fill out. Then you had a trial period of like a month until they made you a real admin kind of thing. And they did reject people and stuff, so that was a good experience. I think TF2C is somewhere that they need admins quite regularly, so.
Yep, a good bit of churn there. Oh, this is the focus, trying to get over this ridge in this map. Got to maintain momentum, get people to work together, have the meds come out. Heal this person, help him through the tunnel. We did a thing, team. We did a thing.
Yeah, there's actually, this pub is more intense than a lot of other pubs.
I'm telling you, this is where the talented players are. It's the creators.tf servers. You can't just turn up here. You've got to actually play. Nobody is sat on the bench.
Yeah, the payload server I play on I really like as well, because they've got quite a few like invite Highlander players in NA and stuff play on it, so it's kind of nice. See some of them in action as well in pub settings.
No. Sorry, I've just been shot by someone. I'm not disagreeing with you.
How dare you?
I don't know. So, like, TF2 is certainly, at least from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, like, definitely a big part of like your gaming life at the moment.
Yeah, I actually had stopped playing video games for about 3 years or so when I was in my undergrad. I played like, I play games like since I was able to play games. I have 3 older brothers, 1 younger brother, and we had a PlayStation in our house. so that was like a natural thing that I also played games, and Game Boys and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't play games during undergrad because I was just doing too many like stuff in the real world, I guess. So I took a break from playing any kind of games then, and I don't think there was a lot of games that came out in that period that I was super interested in anyway. After when I went on an Erasmus year, an international year, and I lived in Belgium, and there.
Totally heard that as a Marasmus year, and I was trying to work out what the fuck.
I know. When I heard that in TF2, I was like, "Dang, that sounds just like my Erasmus year." But yeah, it was a year abroad in Belgium, and there I met some English guy who was like, "You have to get Steam." I'd never heard of it before. I'd never done like PC gaming that wasn't on a disc, and so he like nagged me for about a year to get Steam. And then when we both had to go home, I was like, "Okay, I'll get Steam so I can still like hang out with him online and things."
Yeah.
And then a little bit after me getting Steam, he's like, "You have to get Team Fortress 2, you have to get it." I was like, 4 hours to download on whatever internet I had back then.
4 hours, holy shit.
I was like, nah.
That is...
But yeah, we had broken internet for a while. Thankfully it got fixed. Otherwise I wouldn't be streaming probably. But yeah, so I got TF2 and he played it with me for a bit, and then I honestly feel like as soon as I got better at it than him, he stopped. Yeah, we played it for like a couple months, then he just stopped playing. And then I just kept playing. And I remember a couple months in, he was like, "Wow, you have a clan tag. I never thought you'd be that into TF2." So yeah, it was actually all due to him that I got Steam in the first place and then TF2.
I mean, are you still friends?
Just because he abandoned me. Yeah, we are. We are still friends. He just doesn't play TF2. He's English, so I've visited him in England a few times since.
It's cool.
But yeah,
cool.
he looks down on my passion for TF2.
I mean, he knows it's your fault. I mean, he knows it's his fault, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
He has no one to blame but himself. Up. Am I out of ammo or out of... No, that's you that's out of health. I'll keep you alive, medic. Don't worry. Stand behind me, doctor. Alright, if you're not going to come out of the shadow then. We've got problems. Ooh, that feels good. There we go. Getting the teleporter kill with flame.
I guess have you had it since like the orange box or?
Yeah, going back to a tweet by Mr. Paladin, who seems to be featuring heavily in this podcast. He tweeted last week, I think, that someone he'd killed like a soldier wearing like totally gibbous gear, except for their badge, and they had like the medieval badge to show that they'd been there since like a week before, or a week since TF2 kicked off, was actually a thing. So I prompted by that, I went to find mine and realised that I had been playing TF2 since a week before TF2 launched.
Whoa,
So
wow.
yeah, a little bit. That's basically what I've been doing for the last 12 years. About anyone else?
Yeah, it feels really weird to me that I missed like 7 years of TF2 or whatever, or however many years it was. It came out in 2007, wasn't it?
2007. It was October the 10th, 2007. The official launch
so I
date.
pretty much, I think I downloaded it around October 2014, but I didn't really play it until December 2014. And yeah, it's so weird, and I'm a little bit sad because everyone's always like, "Oh, early TF2 was the best." But I mean, like, I also think my first experiences, my first couple of years of TF2 were really good, and community servers were more alive than that then too. But I don't know. It seems so strange that like I'm really into this game now, but there was a whole 7 years where I didn't even know it was a thing, and it was going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as you say, it's really weird for us to try and get into the mindset of people who are just playing TF2 for the first time now. But it's weirder still for them to try and get into our mindset, because like even for playing it for 4 years or 3 years or 2 years or even 1 year, like trying to imagine that you'd be playing this game a year later is mad. the first time you play, or the first few times you play it, trying to like heal someone, put their flames out, and they're running away from me, thinking I'm spy, and clearly it's this person that's spy. Sorry, but yeah, and I think that goes to like the burnout that people get as well, like the idea that if you've had enough of playing this one game, which is perfectly acceptable and totally understandable, to you the game has died. Like it hasn't seen an update, so the game must be dead. Like I'm leaving it, so the game must be dead. Whereas what's actually happening is you're leaving it, so the game is dead for you.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to understand that actually there will still be people playing, and there will not only be people still playing, but new people will come into this game long after you've gone.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I know for a lot of people who really enjoyed playing TF2, when they leave, they're suddenly like, you know, TF2 is a terrible game, or worse. So a lot of people I know, once they leave TF2, they have a very bad opinion of it. And sometimes even come back later and they're back to having a good opinion again. But while they've been gone, it's a terrible game.
I think part of that is like the trying to... There's like a syndrome associated with having just purchased a thing, that you'll go all out to try and prove the thing that you just spent money on was the right thing to have spent money on. I know it's not quite the same because we're not talking about buying stuff with TF2 unless it's a hat. But if you invested effort and time and love into playing a game, or leaving a game, then you want to convince yourself that it was the right decision. And yes,
especially if you're leaving it because you're frustrated with it, rather than you just are ambivalent about it.
Yeah. If you feel the game has failed you, then everything you'll constantly see signs of or reasons for being right that yes, this game did fail you. Oh, like a pro, getting those reflects in. If only I knew what I was doing beyond reflecting rockets.
I do still have those conversations with my friends, though, where they're like, I wonder if I'll still be playing this in another 10 years.
I think the answer we all know is yes.
Because there's actually, I do know quite a wide range of people who play this game. Like, obviously there's kids and stuff. And then I also like, the community server I play on, there's some people in their like 50s, 60s playing it as well. Like quite a few people, not just like one guy. So it is interesting that TF2 has like a wide age range like that as well.
It's when you do join a community from a game, like you've been playing with people in a game, and then you join the associated Discord or the associated whatever it is, forums. It used to be back in the day, but that was some time ago. Hey, Christmas ham! Thank you very much, Grandpa Swood, for giving us a Christmas ham with the message "Let's go, Lia." I didn't even know that was a thing, so thank you. Awesome. Was that? Is it Christmas ham that gave us? It is.
Yeah,
it's Christmas
ham gave the donation. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Christmas ham. I just assumed that Christmas ham must be a thing as opposed to a person. My
you got
sincerest
both
apologies.
His money and his person.
Wow, that's
you
all
own
in
Christmas ham now.
In one. Now, excellent. Thank you very much. I guess like for 1 month of the year, you are super relevant. And ham always is relevant. So that's
oh, he doesn't like it when you mention his he's only relevant for Christmas.
Oh, my apologies. Christmas is for every month of the year, not just for Christmas. Apparently, that's something new here. I think it's time to open another beer. So I'm doing that right now. So you can hear it in the background. Right, I don't think it's time to another. It's like my 4th beer today. It's not very good.
Yeah, I think we could tell from your intro.
What the rambling intro of a madman.
Yeah.
I thought I got away with that. If it hadn't been for you pesky kids.
You pretty much self-identified that it was weird.
Oh dear. I'm only broken on the inside. And the outside. But the rest is fine. Right. I'm completely distracted from where I was as my Christmas ham has thrown me off course. What was I on about?
Yeah, it's Christmas ham. It's not the beer.
It's not the beer at all. I almost missed my mouth. That's my drinking problem. Right. Yeah. So, like, the thing that sort of struck me most was having joined Clan Vengeance or VGN Clan back in the day, back in 2008, I want to say, or 2000. No, it's 2007. It's like November 2007. I joined Clan Vengeance, and one of the forum posts was "Show us your real picture, show us your face," and it was back in the age of like sincerity, where Facebook was new, kind of thing, and people just posted pictures of themselves, and we discovered then that there were not only were there a bunch of old dudes or middle-aged dudes and dudettes playing, but there were a bunch of kids. Kids amongst us who we'd always assumed of being like just a cool guy and like, but actually they turned out to be kids. One of whom was trying to remember. Oh yeah, Warher, yeah.
Oh right.
So who endeared himself to us quite easily by playing the tune War Her Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Every time you enter the server.
Oh, so that's why his name is that.
Well, I don't know, but it definitely fits. So I don't know whether the song came. Well, obviously the song came first, about 30 or 40 years before he did. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure he invented that song. Actually,
you're
Didn't
right.
He make it up?
Time travel was a thing in the early 2000s, and he took advantage of it. Let's go back in time when travel was also a thing, apparently, briefly, just for a while.
Yeah, it is interesting, like when you have closer friends and seeing what they look like for the first time after you've been friends with them online for a long period. Like you kind of, I feel like based off people's voices, if they use voice chat, you kind of like build an image of what they might look like. And so when you do see them, it's kind of like, it's either like, oh, that's exactly what I thought, or it's like, dang, that was not what I was expecting.
Yeah. And it's fine because you're just playing games. It's not like we're changing the world or doing anything dramatic. We're just playing games and having fun.
One example I have is, I was talking about it the other day, but the demo I had for Highlander in NA, I'd known him for like a couple years, and we all kind of added each other on Snapchat and stuff like that. Not for anything weird.
Okay.
And
this sounds like a non-YouTube conversation, really.
No, we just added each other on Facebook and Snapchat and stuff because we had become that good friends from like playing like 4 times a week for however long. Yeah, I remember seeing a picture of him for the first time, and he was like super muscly jock person. I was like, that's not the kind of person that plays TF2. But yeah, it was like really strange because it's just strange whenever you see someone and they're a lot different than what you imagined. Not that muscly jocks can't play TF2, but I still was surprised.
Well, I mean, their big muscles get in the way of the keyboard, so.
Yeah, well, because he was literally a frat boy and everything too. He lived in a frat house. He went to frat parties. Yeah, I know.
Toga parties and the like.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes he was late to our scrims because he was coming back from a frat party, and it's like, for God's sake.
Just living up to all of the stereotypes all at the same time.
Exactly. And then being a TF2 comp player, so.
That's the final nail in the old coffin. Doomed he was from the very beginning. Some say. I'm not sure I'm going to make that sentry gun kill. It's with a shot. Got it. Nice. Feels good.
But I've never taken the next step of meeting people in person. First of all, because a lot of them, my closest friends, live in North America, and that's not cheap. But also, I don't know, I just never had thought about that before, and that's why I'm hoping Insomnia in August isn't cancelled, because I would really like to go to that and have my first LAN experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say LAN is pretty much exactly the experience that you're trying to describe, where it is playing games with people that you play games with online, and then like having to confront them on a face-to-face basis. And for obvious reasons, the events that were supposed to have been taking place or had been booked to take place have been canned almost universally up and down the world. Least of which, or most important of which, in the TF2 calendar, obviously being Copenhagen Games. Were you booked? Were you part of Copenhagen Games? Was that something you were going to be doing, or?
No, I was just like showing up to see what it was like. To be honest, I wasn't going to participate. Well, I was going to bring my well, if it's still on, I'm bringing my own computer, but it wasn't for competitive.
Oh, so you were going to be at CG?
Oh no, Copenhagen. Sorry, no.
Oh, but it's not. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's sad that Copenhagen got canned. No, that was too soon for when I had started thinking about it. So I was just gonna go to Insomnia, and just the fact that it's right next to an airport in Birmingham,
yeah,
is helpful too.
Certainly makes it a much less traumatic experience.
I mean, I probably will. If I go, I'll probably have less trouble getting there than some other people who aren't traveling by plane, probably.
I sincerely hope that it is going to be on this year. It's one of those things that, like, LAN is desperately important to gamers in general, but I feel that, like, for TF2, where it is such a small and tight-knit community, not having a LAN is almost like pulling one of your lungs out. It feeds this entire experience. And to have missed, or to have had Copenhagen Games struck off the list this year, is just so hard to try and like get my head around it not being there, not as even as a possibility. Hurts my soul. It hurts my soul.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of videos online to try and get. It has piqued my curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, is there any reason why you haven't done it before?
I think the main reason would be I was so involved with NA stuff, and I wasn't gonna fly to North America for anything. At least not at the moment. And then with EU, it did take me a little while to get into EU. I think a large part of me getting into EU was probably watching CJ's streams, because he's got a pretty good community, and he's quite friendly and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite weird going from like a community of TF2 where you know a ton of people, and then going into EU where I honestly really didn't know anyone aside from like one or two people I had met in like casual servers or quick play and was friends with.
But it's all worked out all right.
Yep. Now I have friends in both areas, which is funny because when I played in NA, it was always like, oh, the EU player, and I'd get EU down when I got killed in scrims and stuff.
So you get EU'd down.
And then when I played in EU, I would have NA experience, and they'd be like, oh, NA. It's like, oh,
it's weird in a way that like you're not being put down for being Irish or like anything else. It's like this community doesn't really give a shit so long as you can play. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's my what's it, cis white male kind of root showing through.
Oh, you're gonna take it in that direction.
Maybe. I think that I don't necessarily get away with murder per se, but my perspective of the community is always a little bit skew by the fact that there's like I fit into none of the defined groups of potential fear or whatever.
Yeah, I do definitely think there are people who will be more of an asshole to you if they figure out that you're a girl or they figure out something else about you. But I don't think that's the majority of people. But like those people exist in the real world, so obviously they're going to exist online as well. And they can probably just get away with more online, I would say.
I just run past a sniper. He did nothing about it, and he shot me in the head from point blank. I had no chance of escaping, but don't feel great about that one particular move. That was a death that I think I deserved.
Well, speaking of that kind of stuff, actually, when I talked about that girl teaching her sister to play a medic, there was someone kind of like that. And it was very creepy because she was clearly young and he was asking her age. And he ended up calling her a slur later, so we kicked him from the server. But
yeah,
there are people like that who exist. It just, you kind of hope that they're not the loudest people.
Sometimes it doesn't really matter, though, whether or not they're the loudest people. The fact that they exist is frustrating enough. The fact that, actually, kind of one of the reasons I wanted to get you on the stream or on the show in the first place was because you gave me crap once, and I could find it now, but I'm not going to. It was a quiet whisper of a conversation in Twitch, where you were giving me crap for not taking an active enough response or duty in terms of adminning against people being dicks.
Well, I wouldn't phrase it as giving you crap. I would say I was more exploring the possibilities.
I mean, phrase it however you want, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have had very negative experiences with people like that, but I really especially don't like seeing it happen to other people. I mean, it was part of the reason that I did become an admin in some communities was because I wanted to be able to do more when I saw other people being, like, bullied, basically. And yeah, so I just really don't like it. I don't like it when it happens to me, obviously, but I just especially don't like seeing it happen to someone else, and I don't like feeling that nothing can be done about it when those things happen.
Yeah. What is the appropriate response?
I think that really depends on context. I think there are, and that's what makes it difficult to like blanket deal with it. I think there are some people that they're doing it for attention, and if they don't get attention, they'll get bored and they'll stop. I know that's like the thing that your teacher or your parents tell you, but it is true with some people, and I've seen it effectively work with some people like that. But there are also others who action does need to be taken and they're not just going to get bored and stop. So I think it just kind of is a person, it's a case by case basis, which makes it more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, before you...
and it's hard too because you don't want to get like backlash and make things worse by doing things, which I think can also...
Did your... I mean, the way you speak of it, sort of like the roles and responsibilities and the almost immediately becoming an admin and looking out for people within TF2 like community, within what you found of the TF community for yourself, were you coming at that from the perspective of someone who already knew how to be an admin, or was that sort of learning on the job for looking out for people?
I think I had a good example of it on that first community I played on. I think that they had very good admins that were carefully chosen and tested, and so I had a good example before I became an admin there first. And they had things laid out very well. TF2C, I think, had I think admins there had different perspectives from each other on how to deal with things, or like how strict you needed to be with things. And that's the kind of thing where I think, you know, sometimes taking action will make the situation worse and give you a bad reputation, and yeah. It's very hard to speak about just because it is, you really do have to tailor your response to the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, I always was like interested in that. Before I played like online games or anything, I cared about that kind of stuff. And I mean, I did teaching because I also wanted to be able to like help out teenagers and stuff. It wasn't just like I want to be in a position of power or something, like some teachers I know. And I'm going into counseling now because, yeah, that's just people's well-being is important to me.
Wait, what?
I'm doing a master's in counseling at the moment. Because, well, originally I thought I might like to be a school counselor, but now that I'm doing a course in counseling, I think I would be happy to be any kind of a counselor, like any group.
That's kind of awesome.
Thanks. Well, I kind of missed out, I feel, because we didn't have psychology in my school as an A-level option, so I never really got to explore that. I probably would have done it from the start if that'd been an option in my school. But whenever I left teaching in England, there's like literally no teaching jobs in Northern Ireland, by the way. Whenever I left teaching in England, I was trying to figure out what my plan would be next. And that's when I just took a bit of time to explore what I would actually want to do. And I decided counseling would be the right thing. And so I'm halfway through a master's in counseling at the minute.
By halfway, that's 2 years of 4, or?
Yeah, just 2 years of 2, so, or 1 year of 2, I should say.
2 years of 2. Glad it's counselling and not math.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a good thing I'm not becoming an accountant.
Oh, he's been shot in the head by a sniper.
But yeah, I think that kind of stuff, if it happens in real life, is taken more seriously than if it happens online. Those kind of like attitudes and behaviors generally. And it is the thing of like, yeah, people expect to have bad experiences on the internet. People don't really expect as much to have a bad experience, you know, in their daily. So it's clearly just kind of the online atmosphere leads to more of those opportunities to act that way.
Oh, don't want to die, don't want to die, don't want to die. Stop the cap. Nice. Oh, I died. Oh, such an opportunity there. Never mind. It's hard to get you Uber. I can see why you go crits all the time.
Yeah, faster. Though, I mean, at least you can't die when you've got the Uber.
Yeah. But like the shock and awe of
have
crits.
To crits.
It's when it becomes your signature move that you need to be worried. Like, it's great to have as part of your arsenal as something that you can pull out and destroy other teams with. But when they expect you to do crits, unless they always expect the Spanish Inquisition, in which case, when it does happen, people aren't. Apparently, the Spanish Inquisition used to announce like 3 weeks in advance that they were coming to your town to come after you. Like everybody,
oh really?
Expected the Spanish Inquisition. They knew that the Spanish Inquisition were going to be there, and because the Spanish Inquisition, they just wanted people to do good. So or at least their perspective of good. So they gave people an opportunity to do nice things. Like they've got bad press, and then obviously they tortured and murdered people. But you know, up until that moment, they're just poorly portrayed. Yeah. Oh wow, that guy is killing me.
Yeah. I literally spawned just in time to see that. I was like, what the hell?
What the hell? That is not how I wanted to go out.
That was bad timing to open that door.
Yep. Oh, I wish I hadn't been alive to see that. Right. So, I mean, TF2 may have been your first PC gaming experience, or your first Steam experience. I mean, but your stream content is like a day of TF2 and then a day of random ass games and then a day of.
Wow, you describe it so eloquently.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that's pretty much on the nose exactly what it is, but. So.
Yeah.
You're a variety streamer now.
Yeah, I originally when I started my little baby YouTube channel, I actually wanted to play. I wanted to play horror games with my brothers. Actually, I'm very close with my brothers, and but first of all, they're too scared to play horror games, and second of all, I don't think they wanted to do YouTube, so that wasn't gonna work out. But yeah, so whenever I started streaming, I originally just intended to play TF2 with my friends, like I said earlier. But then I was like, oh, I actually have an opportunity to play horror games live, which would be fun. So that was like a major part of the games I wanted to play, and especially since getting a webcam and stuff. Well, I always had the webcam, I just never used it. Especially since using the webcam, I think that's quite a good setup for horror games. People like to see you suffering.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like playing a bunch of other games too.
I mean, for me, I hate horror games playing them, but I love watching other people, as you say, suffer. But it's more a perspective of now I get to experience the game without having to experience it behind a pillow.
Yeah. Well, I always liked, well, actually, I didn't always like horror movies. Whenever I was about 13, I had this friend who was obsessed with horror, and she had a sleepover for her birthday every year. And we watched, I remember being 13 and watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw 1 and 2, a bunch of other stuff, Final Destination 3, and I was just like scarred for life. But after watching them a few more times, I really got into horror. I don't really like gore horror, like those kind of films, but I do like thrillers and supernatural horrors and stuff. And at first, then I kind of got used to watching horror, and it wasn't as scary anymore. And so then I started watching, don't yell at me, but I started watching people like PewDiePie and Markiplier playing horror games on YouTube. And that was quite fun, and I never thought I would be able to play a horror game. I was the like hiding behind the pillow person. And I remember playing Outlast, I think, for the first time, and I was just like so scared, too scared to like move. That's the difference between horror films and horror games, is like you just watch and let it happen in a horror movie. But in a horror game, you're actually supposed to be thinking and actively doing things. So
you've got to make choices. Your decisions count to whether or not you progress the game.
And so that took a little bit of adjusting, and I'm still super bad at finding my way in horror games. Like I always get lost in horror games just because I'm like in the moment of, I can't remember where I've been or where I'm going to.
Yep.
But yeah, I do like, I think I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, to be honest, so I do like that kind of stuff.
Are you sure? Why not? So it's one day of playing horror, one day of playing TF2, and one day of doing the Jack in the Box type participate with the audience stuff.
It's very sweet that you think it's called Jack in the Box. But yeah, I do TF2 like 3 days a week. At the minute, I'm doing it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings. And then I do Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're a bit up in the air. I like to do horror games in the evening, and if it's another game, I like to play it in the afternoons, so that I have like an evening free at some point. But
yeah, sorry for ruining your free evening, by the way.
It's fine. I didn't have class today, so it balances out. And this is fun anyways. So, and then the last thing was, yeah, Jackbox party games. They do those on Sunday evenings because that's the best day for it, really, because I have both Americans and EU people who like to participate, and so I want to do it on a weekend day so everyone gets to play. And those are really fun because it's only me that has to own the game. Literally anyone else can join just by putting a code into a website on a browser, and they can play the game with me. And it's very creative and funny and that kind of stuff, so I really do enjoy doing those on Sundays as well. And it's just way more interactive than a lot of the other games.
Yeah, to me it sort of strikes me as almost not being a game. Like it's an excuse to chat with your chat, have a conversation with your chat, and then like occasionally they play, like it's almost like playing a flash game. Yeah,
it's like it's kind of like a casual like party game, rather than like an FPS game. But yeah, it does require, depending on the game, it does require a bit of thinking at least. But yeah, it's a lot more relaxed. It is really like the kind of thing I would imagine back in the day would be like you'd go to someone's house and play like Pictionary or something like that. It's like that, but it's virtual and you've got a bunch of different games.
Virtual Pictionary. I can think of nothing worse.
I've actually never played Pictionary in real life.
No. The frustration of having your uncle describe with pictures which are all essentially the same picture, but he's just making like gestures to say no, this circle is actually like the Eiffel Tower. You're just
because I have
you're just
four
stupid.
brothers. Yeah, because I have 4 brothers, we never had to invite our uncles, so we never had that problem.
Cunning. Dodged a bullet with that one, I think. Oh, I'm about to die, aren't I? Probably. Yes. God damn you, Pyro.
Part of the fun is having a clueless member playing the game, though, too.
Who doesn't know the rules or doesn't know the thing or, or anything about how to play?
A lot of times that person's more amusing than the actual game.
Oh, way up. Somebody wants to duel me. I've got to accept it. It's them's the rule. Them's the streamer rules.
He's looking for a team, though. It could be good.
Oh, I don't know. If he's playing pub on a Saturday night, he's probably not that great. So, coming into this, you must have had some expectations of what this was going to be. This playing TF2 and chatting. Is there any question that you're desperately hoping I didn't ask?
I don't think so, really. I don't think. I mean, I say that now, but then like someone will ask me something, I'll be like, "Oh shit, that was it." But no, I really don't think there was anything I was dreading you asking. I was just hoping that that I would be able to talk as well as I normally do on my own stream.
While you're actually playing a game, like you want to win.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to
but no, I watched the CJ episode, which was interesting. I already know a lot about CJ because I stalk his Twitch all the time.
Yep.
And then I watched Sigafu, which was also interesting to me because I wanted to do RGL next season, and I think I have like a positive view of it, so hopefully that doesn't change. And also I knew about him from like, he's an NA player obviously in the Sigafu save and all that kind of stuff, so that was interesting too.
I didn't want to mention it at the time. What's the Sigafu save thing?
Oh god, I was talking about this in my stream the other day, and I was like, I don't know, it was like the Wrangler, the rescue range, something happened on a Highlander thing where he like saved it in this ridiculous circumstance and it didn't go down. But I don't think you can do it anymore because they've nerfed NG so much in the past while. I don't think it's still a thing that you can actually carry out.
Like I feel Uncle Dane gets too much press for being engineer, and other players who are arguably significantly better as competitive engineers don't get anywhere near enough press for being engineer.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's more like someone was talking to me about whether back to Mr. Paladin again. Someone was talking to me about Mr. Paladin the other day, and they were like, Stabby's a way better spy than him, and it's like they're just two different things.
Yeah.
Mr. Paladin is well known because I think he's fairly good at making tutorials, to be honest, and he's a YouTube personality. Stabby's a competitive spy, and obviously a lot of people know him as well, but it's just a different area, and I think it's the same kind of with Uncle Dane, who did play some Highlander, by the way. We actually played against him in Silver UGC. He's like, I mean, I think he's a good like pub NG, and I'm sure he did fine in Highlander and stuff too, but like he's a YouTube personality, and that's why he's well known. Whereas, I don't know, Sigafu's not really a YouTube personality, right?
I mean, he has a YouTube channel, but it's not like it's for comp. He's a YouTuber in the same way that I'm a YouTuber, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's more niche, I guess, and so possibly gonna reach less people than an Uncle Dane type.
That's very nice way of putting that. Thank you. I'll take that.
Well, I'm talking about Sigafu, but
yeah, no.
But it applies, to all.
Oh no, 0-0 in the duel. I completely forgot that I was dueling someone.
But it's kind of like what I was talking about with streaming earlier. Like, I feel like people who stream are either streaming because they're amazing at the game, or they're streaming because they're a bit of a personality, or it could be a combination of both, obviously.
Yeah, I've just realised my push to mute button is the same as my talk in game button. So every time I blow my nose, in game, it just broadcasts across.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Like the only thing I've been saying this entire time on the server is...
I remember playing Killing Floor 2. I remember playing it with a couple of friends, and this guy, he didn't realize, but his push to talk was the same as his like throw money away button. So he's just constantly throwing money at us. We were just taking it.
So what was that? Do you want to say that again? I love that.
It was Killing Floor 2 was the game we were playing.
Yeah, nice. Just ask him to repeat everything and take all his money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Genius. Killing Floor 2, I think, has had an update recently. I saw someone tweet to say Killing Floor 2 or KF2 has had update before TF2.
Yeah, there was a spring update. Killing Floor 2 isn't that bad for getting updates, I don't think. Or maybe I'm just like, I'm so used to TF2 that anything seems like it's better at updating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I did see that. I was thinking of trying out the update as well.
Tragic but true. Right, I don't think, while we're waiting for the gates to open and for the enemy team to come out, what better time is there to consider the most important thing that ever comes out of these shows, and for at least one person, which is Player of the Week. Mm-hmm. Do you have someone in mind that you would like to award the prestigious title of Player of the Week to?
Yes, I do. And just before I say the person, I did want to mention I do have a friend who won a Critscast hat in a raffle or something years ago that you had.
Right.
And it's his like prized possession.
Nice.
He wears it all the time, and it's his bragging point. And whenever I mentioned that I was going to go on this, he was like, "Can you ask him if I can get a second hat?" But I'm not giving anyone a second hat. And he was just kidding. But yeah, I wanted to give it to Vinny, if you know him. I'm sure he's been on Critscast streams as a Highlander player in EU. I was saying earlier that like it was quite strange going from an NA community where I knew lots of people to an EU one where I didn't know that many people. And he was very nice to me when I started trying to get into EU competitive. And yeah, just like I think a good example of how people should be brought into competitive. I wasn't like brand new brought into competitive, but it was still like being brought into a different community. And so, and he's like, I don't know, he's like a top div sniper scout, depending what he's playing, I guess. And yeah, I thought he would appreciate it because I know he's been in a lot of, I'm sure he's been in a lot of Critscast streams himself. And so he's very aware of you guys. And yeah, just a really good example, I think, of someone who is welcoming and friendly to new people in TF2, which is, I think, is what TF2 needs.
Absolutely, very, very. It's rare that I get to. It's not rare. It's nice though that I get to agree that actually Player of the Week does go to someone who is accommodating of new talents. Should we say? As opposed to just being entirely and completely focused on this game being as much as it possibly can be for themselves, but willing to actually accept the newness of new, and make them part of the game. Oh, I'm playing like a god right now, he says as he dies. But being dead is probably one of the best things I can do, because now my fingers are freed up to press this button, which is Player of the Week. So congratulations, Vinny. You are this week's Player of the Week.
Yeah, and he's Lucas in chat at the minute as well. If anyone wants to say congrats.
Ooh, yeah! Start the freaking party!
So if you'll we'll exchange deets afterwards, and you can send me his Steam ID, and I will get that hat off to him. Right, that done and out of the way. I guess I think you've earned the opportunity to give some shout-outs. Is there anyone other than Vinny, obviously, that you want to be giving kudos to?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know I'd get this opportunity. I do want to shout out the server I mentioned earlier, Oprah's Petrol Station. If anyone is in NA, it's a really good Chicago server, and the admins there are quite good. The owner's really good, and they started their community, I think, at a really hard time. Like, they started it a year ago after Meet Your Match, and they managed to build it, and it's full every night. It's a really good server with a fun community.
Awesome.
And then other than that, I have to say, I have to shout out Christmas Ham, who donated earlier.
Yep.
He is, in fact, my boyfriend. And, and he's very supportive. I really appreciate that. He's done a lot for me. And then, of course, I have to shout out my mods, who are also, one of them is also a Critscast mod, Lorik. So he gets double kudos. And Andreas is here.
And Andreas is here. Doesn't get a shout out. He just and like, Andreas exists. How many names
can I say right now? Yeah. I've got Maverick, River, Anom, Lorik, Andreas.
I mean, they're not all getting hats, so you can 21. Say as many as you want. So yeah.
I know. I just was thinking I have a lot of mods.
You really do.
I got them all now, I believe.
Nice.
I'm gonna get so yelled at if I forgot someone. And then I mean, my old community server, I don't think there's anyone here from it, but Crit Sandwich was like the best TF2 experience I've ever had, and will always be my favorite. And thank you, Aggro, for having me.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, almost a throwaway thought there. Yes, we mutually killed each other on server, live on stream.
Right when I was thanking you.
Yeah. That's perfect. Absolutely well timed that was. Very well done. I knew I'd seen that green-tipped rocket launcher somewhere.
Oh, I better say hi to Sam, because he said it in chat and he's going to be mad at me if I don't. Hi, Samuel Boyo. There, you got it in. Are you happy?
Right, just slipped it in at the last moment when nobody was looking. That is absolutely fine. Is there anything you want to promote? How do people get hold of you? How do they see your work?
Yeah, I stream 6 days a week on twitch.tv/Lucky_Lia. I do have a YouTube channel, but it literally is one of those, I upload these videos from my friends' YouTube channels, and it's Leah Rain. It's all my frag compilations that I send to people and tell them how good I am. I'm one of those helpful people that uploads tutorials and stuff for people. But yeah, that's it, pretty much.
That's enough. It'll do. And I guess lastly, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for brightening up my Saturday and giving me another great excuse to have a few drinks, which I've definitely taken advantage of quite a lot right now. Feeling a little bit warmer than I was a few hours ago. And once again to remind people that the lockdown throwdown, I should say, is kicking off on the 10th and 11th of April. Please do go along and, I was going to say subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube if you want. Follow Twitch. Subscribe to Twitch. Do all of the things. Whatever you want to do, you're more than welcome to do so. There will be lots of content coming out on YouTube, lots of content coming out on Twitch in the intervening days and weeks. Lots to be seen in terms of competitive, and we will be back with you. Let me check my calendar. I've got someone coming in next week, and I can tell you who that is as soon as I find it and scroll down. It actually is next Sunday, so we're missing Saturday's content, so that won't be coming out on YouTube on Saturday, but on Sunday we are going to be having this gamey style interview chatty type thing with none other than North American heartthrob X-Tine, who is awesome and we'll see you next time. Oh, I can't believe he makes me say that. I even see the X in block capitals whenever I'm thinking of words with X in them. But anyway, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I very much look forward to the rest of your content for the rest of your life. That sounded creepy. I don't know why I said that way.
I'll try not to be disappointing.
You better try. I can't get the screen back onto the right mode. It's stuck. We're going to be looking at my calendar for the rest of... There it is. It's back now. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching the stream, everybody. Thank you very much for the donation and all of the love and all the follows and all of the awesome that has been this episode of Critscast. Look forward to future of TF2, and remember, whatever you're doing this evening, please wear slippers because they just keep your feet warm. And if they're anything like mine, they have fantastically huge pink balloonicorns on them. Good night, everybody. You can say goodbye if you want. Say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Sorry.